Hey guys, Dave here. Welcome to the Centurions Review, the punk rock band of wargame review institutions. Today I'm going to be doing a first look at CV from Yaquinto Games. It's a high complexity game about the Battle of Midway. Okay, so on the back of the box it says it's simultaneous and semi-hidden movement. It's realistic and has land, sea, and air combat. And then it says the scale is 20 miles per hex, 1 hour per turn, and there's individual ships, 3 plane elements, and the ground units are 40 to 60 men. And the number of players is 2 to 4. Here's the average playing time, believe it or not, 5 to 20 hours, so this is a deep game. And as far as complexity, it says level 4, which is the highest. This game is designed for experienced players and is very complex and detailed in its treatment. Recommended for veteran players with a high interest in the subject matter. Only 5 minutes after the Japanese cheered the slaughter of the American torpedo bombers, 3 of their largest aircraft carriers were shattered and burning in one of history's most dramatic reversals. What went wrong? What were the key decisions that led to American victory and Japanese defeat? CV covers the decisive Battle of Midway in great detail. Can you, as the American admiral with thorough knowledge of the Japanese strengths and positions, hold strategic Midway Island? Can you, as the Japanese admiral in the dark as to American strength, position, and intentions, use your vastly superior fleet to change history? Every ship or plane that could have participated is included, from giants like the Kaga, Enterprise, Yamato, and Maryland, to the cramped submarines, I-boats, and Japanese midget submarines, from planes like the Dauntless, Kate Vale, Wildcat, and Zero, that dominated the battle, to the more obscure but no less important types such as the Catalinas, Liberators, Jakes, and Mavis flying boats. And how would the 5,000 Japanese landing troops have fared against the entrenched Marines on Midway had the landings taken place? The rules cover all the key factors in the battle: observation and limited intelligence, land, sea, and air combat, repairs, critical hits, ammunition supply, bomb types, night and weather, and much more. Let's take a look inside here. First thing we see is a lot of counters. They're half-inch counters. Got pictures of planes, bombs, and so forth. Some got numbers on them. Got some fleets there. It's got a counter tray in here. I guess he didn't bother to use it, but these Yaquinto counter trays aren't that good. There's no lid on them as far as I can recall, and stuff kind of falls around the box anyway, so it's kind of pointless. Yeah, they're not bad for counters from an old game. Here's the counter tray in question. Actually, I think there's 2 in here. Yep, these are really flimsy material. Generally, people didn't like the Yaquinto counter trays. Here's our rule book. Looks like quite a rule book, actually. It's got a table of contents, which is good. More rule books should do that. So it's going over game scales here, directions. And that's going over the different units and what stuff means. It's like the air units have an air factor, and torpedo units have a torpedo factor and a movement factor. Or excuse me, ship units have a torpedo factor, movement factor, and anti-aircraft factor. And here it's going over what's on the ground units. And there's different types of bombs. You have armor piercing and high explosive, and also torpedoes, of course. And their wind plays a factor in this game. And here you go over the setup. And the basic game rules start on page 3. Here's your observation rules. And then it gets to the sequence of play. First part is plane readiness and air unit organization phase. Plane, which has a plane ready step, ready to launch segment, refueling and rearming segment, weapon change segment, form air unit step, ship plotting and movement phase, plot ship movement step, ship unit movement and shadowing step, ground unit unloading step, air unit initiative roll phase, air unit movement phase, landing step, normal air unit movement step, takeoff step, combat phase, air-to-air combat step, and interceptor to interceptor or interceptor to escort combat segment. And here we have an interceptor to bomber combat segment, AA segment, bombing combat step, surface combat step. Jesus Christ, this is a long sequence of play. Ship-to-ship gunnery combat segment, surface torpedo attack combat segment, breakthrough combat segment, bombardment gunnery combat segment, ammunition recording segment. That's a piece of detail they don't need to add. Ground combat step, Midway base repair phase, and victory point counting phase. I assume the rest of the book's just going over the steps. Yeah. Yeah, it's just going on the steps in more detail. See if there's any advanced rules here. Below is a sample secret setup for ship-to-ship combat. Alright, and the optional rules start on page 17. I guess it's got rules for the small main guns, long-range bombardment, bombing combat with screening ship units, and critical hits. And it's got rescue ships and plotted air units, and luck rules, interesting, plane repairs, and torpedo reloads. And then there's some multiplayer rules here. And some tables and stuff. And here's your scenarios. So you got a short scenario. That's the one that's only 5 hours, I believe. And then the Battle of Midway scenario, I think that's the one that takes 20 hours. Or wait, no, here's the Midway campaign scenario. That would be the 20-hour one, I would assume. Alright. And let's see what else we got in here. Japanese ship record sheet. Another one. Oh, on the back it's got an American ship record sheet. Another one. Alright. And what do we have here? Here's for keeping track of the turns and stuff. And here's your air record sheet, American plane handling tables, and your plane data charts. And here's your plot map. Yeah, another ship record sheet. Yeah, there's a bunch more. Alright, these look like the player aids here. Here's your Japanese holding boxes. American holding boxes. And this has your observation tables and your critical hit tables, which is for the optional rules. And ship sizes and functions, night landing table, wind, and victory point chart. And on the back we have air hit tables, surface hit tables, and here's your regular CRT, which I assume is for ground combat. And here's your air hit table modifiers, surface hit table modifiers, and Midway base repair. And what do we have here? This might be just one for the other player. Yeah, it's one for the other player. And this has got to be the map or maps. Here's one half of the map. This has got Pearl Harbor, Midway, Kure, Lysianski, and Laysan. And let's see what's on the other map. Look, I mean, it's just a naval map, but at least it's blue. I've seen naval games before where the map wasn't even blue. And here's the last map. This one's mostly just open sea. Yeah, the Pacific. Here's the Tropic of Cancer. And on the bottom, here's your point record and your time record.
Thanks for watching, guys. If you've tried CV, definitely let us know how it is. Looks like a cool game, even though it's pretty high in complexity. Have a good evening.